Hi everyone, this is my audience, chair, camera right there, and the other chair. Did you know that the consumption of meat is one of the leading causes of climate change? Would you be willing to change your eating habits if it meant a more sustainable future? I assume that most of you probably eat meat, and I can also assume that most of you are aware of the climate crisis going on in our world. Well, I'm here to tell you that there is a direct correlation between the two, and it's essential that we start thinking about how to solve these issues. We need to cut meat from our diets at least once per week so that we can work towards having healthier bodies in a more sustainable environment. To argue my position, I will be explaining the problem, which is eating meat, and what the effects of consuming meat are on your health and the environment. Then we will take a look at what the current solutions are and why they're not working. And then lastly, I'll be discussing my proposal solution and why it will work much better. There's a lot to cover, so let's move into it. Our consumption of meat is the problem. As the United Nations University explains, the global livestock industry produces more greenhouse emissions than all cars, planes, trains, and ships combined. You heard that right. Not only is consuming meat one of the leading causes of climate change, it also has major implications on our personal health. Now let's discuss the implications of consuming meat on a regular basis. Our consumption of meat directly contributes to climate change and also contributes to a range of different diseases. The Clean Water Action Campaign explains that when land is converted to agricultural fields, carbon pollution is released, and the crop fields are treated with toxic chemicals and fertilizers. And in turn, the excess runs into waterways and damages the soils. Dr. Dariush Mozaffarian, Dean of the Friedman School of Nutrition Science and Policy at Tufts University, explains that processed meats such as bacon, hot dogs, and deli meats are linked to a higher risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes. With all of this knowledge, you'd think that we would be doing more to solve these issues, but we are not. We have not solved the climate crisis yet, and it's important to identify what we're doing wrong so that we can figure out new solutions. Rob Bailey, an author from Ipsos Mori, conducted a report and concluded that the world is doing very little in tackling meat and dairy consumption. The report found that twice as many people think that transport is the bigger contributor to global warming. Our current solutions are obviously not working, and it's crucial that we educate ourselves so that we're more aware of the risks when we eat meat. Now let me propose to you what I think would work better, compared to doing nothing at all. I am proposing that we cut meat out of our diets at least once per week. And by doing so, we would substantially cut our carbon footprint and reduce our risk of heart disease. If we cut meat out of our diets at least once per week, especially red meat and large predatory fish, overall it can help significantly reduce our personal greenhouse gas emissions. A study that was published on PubMed, epidemiologists discovered that by eating less meat, it would not only reduce our carbon footprint, but we could reduce our risk of cardiovascular disease, colorectal disease, and type 2 diabetes. We've gone over a lot, so let's review. To recap, we've discussed the consumption of meat and why it is detrimental to our personal health and environment. Then we looked over what steps we are taking to combat these issues. And then I presented a new solution and why it's going to be a better strategy in combating said issues. By cutting meat from our diets at least once per week, we can work towards having healthier bodies and a more sustainable environment. We can take immediate action by choosing what to eat at our next meal. So, will you take a step in the right direction towards a healthier world? Thank you.